Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Unstoppable Marketer podcast. With me, as always, is my co-host, Mark Goldhart. Mark, how are you?
I'm good. Always.
It's been a while since we've podcasted.
Oh, I know. It's been great, actually.
You were sick,
I was sick, and then I left.
and then you went on vacation.
The worst stomach flu ever passed through my family. It was just hell on earth. It was the apocalypse inside my house.
You and me were in a hotel room when you found out, and so I was so nervous
Yes.
that I was then going to bring it to my
So
family.
like my wife
And I
is
didn't.
dying at home. I literally had to hop on a plane.
Yeah, we flew
A
out to
day
LA
early.
for an event.
Yeah.
We were sponsoring, actually our first event. Like,
Okay.
so excited about sponsoring this event. That night, his wife's like,
She calls
I'm
me,
dying,
and she's
and
like,
so
"I'm
are the
dying."
kids. And
And we
so,
have a 10-month-old.
Yeah.
And so I'm
Yeah.
talking to Trevor saying, what do I do? She's probably better in 24 hours, but I probably should go home.
yeah.
And she wasn't. It actually lasted like 3 days for
Yeah.
her.
Okay,
So we
but
booked
like,
a flight.
Good job going
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a big step.
Yeah, so we went to dinner, and
So
then we're
I
like,
flew
let's
home.
just book you a flight. He was on the first flight out. And then it was actually good. I mean, not only was it good that he went to help his wife, but it was also good because
'Cause I
you
got
got
sick.
sick
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
when we would have been hosting the event.
Yes.
So that would have been treacherous.
And you didn't.
And then
get
I
it.
probably would have gotten sick.
It was a miracle.
And well, I say this, I'm not going to make a medical claim here, but
So don't come after us.
I am a studier of the stomach flu. And because I hate it more than anything
You're a
in the
stomach
entire
flu
world.
enthusiast.
I'm a stomach flu, not enthusiast.
Cure enthusiast.
Yes, cure enthusiast. And I've learned two things about the stomach flu. There's always a guinea pig who's going to just get it
Sure.
randomly, and they are going to be the person who passes. So if you happen to not be the guinea pig who gets it,
The guinea pig who got it was our daughter. She was
Okay.
10 months. She was
yeah,
the first
what
one
do
to
you
get
do?
it.
Everyone, you
Yeah.
have to help
And we
her.
just thought
Yeah.
she just, like a 10-month-old that threw up like a couple
Yeah.
times. You're like, oh, she just ate something, so we didn't think anything of it.
Okay, but have you seen this whole grape juice and
let's
charcoal
go!
stuff?
What the? I started this.
You did?
Yes. What do you mean? Where did you hear this?
I just
Is it
learned this.
TikTok?
No, I don't remember.
I
I literally don't remember.
I
But
talk
I
about
went
it all
to
the time.
our like
Grape juice and
little
charcoal. Didn't
small
help me, but-
town holistic like natural grocers, which like isn't legit in Idaho where I live. But I got like grape juice for that very reason. I didn't even get into charcoal, and I never got it.
Oh my gosh. We haven't even introduced our guest yet. She's just talking. But
Sorry.
no, no, this is good. I'm going to introduce you, but you don't know who it is yet. Actually, you probably do because you've read the title. But grape juice. So what I've learned about grape juice is grape juice, apparently it changes the pH levels in
Okay.
your stomach, and the stomach bug has a harder time connecting or
Something.
whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's number one. Number two is you take activated charcoal.
Yes.
And activated charcoal is what they give people who OD,
Sure.
right? And it helps them
Yeah.
pump their stomachs. And so those two,
Does it come in like a pill form?
yes.
Okay.
The activated
Yeah, do you-
charcoal
I don't
does,
know what you
can
have
just
out
get it
in-
at Walgreens.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think we got the right one though.
You know?
I don't think so. Because it was meant for like gas. Like it was like a gas. It was like a control your
Sucks
gas
up
thing.
the gas.
No, I have heard that activated charcoal does help that too. Like
Yeah.
even if your kid has a like if our kid ever has like a sugar stomach, we call it sugar stomach.
Okay.
I always give them one and they always feel better.
Really?
Yeah.
For us, it's just apple cider vinegar.
That's more preventative.
Your
That's
kids
not gonna-
are just downing apple cider vinegar.
My kids are weird.
Ugh.
My kids like slurp down fish oil. They love vitamin. They're weird. I don't know.
No, that's
I don't know what my
like
wife
that,
did, but
you
it's
get
weird.
applause. Yeah.
They
for
love vitamins. They love fish oil and like fish and crab and
that. That's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
Good.
So
they're bizarre.
that is it. I'm no doctor,
But
At
you
all.
didn't get the flu.
but I didn't get the flu. And in fact,
And he hasn't gotten
unless, well, I did this year, but it was because I was the guinea pig,
Okay.
right? I was the one who just got it.
Yeah.
But the rest of my family, like this year was the first year because everybody listened to me and my wife and did it in my family.
Okay.
And we got the stomach flu. The stomach flu passed by my family 3 times this year. And only one person in the family got it the whole time.
That's awesome.
So like I got it. My daughter just barely had it. Well, maybe it was
Bruh.
only twice. I didn't get it with you.
No, you
That's
didn't.
awesome.
And we shared a bed.
Grape
Just
juice
kidding.
and charcoal.
We
I'm
shared a
honored
bed.
to be sitting with the founder of grape juice and
Grape juice and charcoal.
The
TM. I'm going to create a product.
I mean, you've been talking about it for about 3 years.
That's
Yeah, I've been on it for like
crazy.
3 or 4 years. I
Yeah.
haven't got the stomach flu until this year for like 7 years because I've been
Good
doing
for
that.
you.
So,
That's awesome.
I hadn't had the stomach flu in 8 years,
yeah.
but I don't have kids that go to like a school.
We're
so
like 10 minutes into this podcast and we are
We're
just
just
talking
talking
stomach
the
flu.
stomach flu.
we're
Yeah.
just talking.
okay.
Should we introduce our guest?
Yeah, well, I think we probably should.
I'm very excited for this guest.
Me too.
All right, everybody sitting next to us, you've already heard her voice. This is Kim Olson. She is the CEO and founder?
Brand director, co-founder.
Co-founder. Sorry about that.
That's
I should have,
okay. Yeah.
Co-founder of Jovi, which is a
Drug-free.
drug-free. I was saying medical-free. Drug-free pain relief menstrual cramp patch.
You did great. Yes.
did great.
That was slow clap. You did
Woo!
perfect.
I think you added in like 3 extra words.
I could have. I'm
You know
a little
what?
wordy.
The reality is this. It is like groundbreaking technology. There's nothing else like it, and it's really hard to explain in 5 words. So you did great.
I did it in 6.
Yeah.
Great.
You
Great
did awesome.
job.
Well, how are you?
Good. So good. Thanks for having me.
Welcome. You just drove down from Rigby,
Yes. Good old
a
Idaho.
3-hour drive,
Yeah.
just to be with us.
Yes. Totally.
Just to jump on the pod.
No, we got lucky. I actually was DMing her, and I was like, I'd love to have you on the podcast. We're not huge fans of virtual podcasts. We do it when we have to,
Sure.
but they're just like, there's just a different energy.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, even with technology, there's still just weird interrupting. Like
Yeah,
hard to
something's
pick up
delayed.
cues.
You know, get the body language
Sure.
and all that kind of stuff. And so I was happy when you said you come down to Utah from time to time, and
Yeah.
I was super stoked that you said, "Hey, I'm heading down," and it's like, let's
I
do
know.
this. And then it happened to be in Draper.
Random.
Fate.
Meant to be, for sure. Thanks
So-
for having me here. I'm glad to
Thank
be
you.
here.
Tell us a little bit about you, and let's learn a little bit about Jovi, and let's just jump into it.
Jump right in. Okay, telling the story of Jovi is actually my favorite thing. But
Let's go.
First, Kim Olson, born and raised Rexburg, Idaho. I have a blended family. I always say it's my imperfectly perfect blended family of 3. It's really complex when you get into the
Yeah.
details of it. But I have a son, and then my late husband has 2 kids, a boy and a girl. I claim them. I love them dearly. I still see them all of the time. They come stay at the Olson
Amazing.
farm, as we call it, which it's not a farm, but still live in Idaho, out in the country, just like live a very simple, beautiful life.
Love that.
Yeah,
And we learned that my brother-in-law,
Yes,
you know my brother-in-law,
I do.
and
yes.
his brother.
Small town.
It's a
Yeah.
small Utah, Idaho. It's small.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
No,
I apologize.
please. You're good.
Wait, is Olson your late husband's last name?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that related to like the football family Olson?
Football family Olson.
What football family are you talking about?
You got like Hans Olson and like Merrill Olson, I think. From
So there's a
Utah State.
lot of Olson ENs.
Uh-huh.
We're Olson ONs.
Owen. Okay.
Yeah. And
And
there's
I-
some Ions.
Probably.
seen
I
them, yeah.
believe it. But I don't know any football family Olsons.
All right. Cool.
But I should
Yeah, I was just like,
be
oh,
yeah.
maybe she's related to the.
Yeah.
It's kind
I
of like a
don't know.
dynasty of crazy
Athletes.
Yeah, athletes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, you have a farm.
I
That's
mean,
not a farm.
we live on like 6 acres out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, see, that's my dream.
I have chickens. We have horses. They're now
Do you have a dairy cow?
elsewhere. We did have a couple cows. Those weren't my favorite. We have
dairy or just like
just
Jersey.
Jersey meat cows.
Is that what a meat cow is? A Jersey cow?
I don't
It's one type of
know. Yeah, I don't even know. Angus is what we had.
Red or black?
Both.
Oh,
Yeah,
both.
and the red
Jeez.
were actually really pretty.
Listen to you
And
two.
you want to know what? Baby
Some heifers.
cows are so adorable. But
They are.
then
But those
they
are the ones that
grow
you
up.
sell and kill.
Yeah.
Have you seen the TikTok video of the guy who makes a meal and then his cow is in the back of him and he says like me trying to eat with my cow and
Yes.
the cow just eats all of his food?
Yeah.
It's entertaining enough.
So you
Sorry.
don't like the cows?
It's not really a farm. So like
that seems farmish to me.
It's just more
Yeah,
like a
it's
hobby
a
farm.
homestead and it's like
Hobby
adorable. Yeah. It's great. We
Awesome.
love it. It's quiet, it's simple, it's like a life I never thought I would have. Ryan, my husband, actually like he was like, I don't like people, I don't like traffic. I mean, he loves people, don't get me wrong, but
I love Ryan.
he
I wanna-
wanted deer to come into
That's what I
his
want.
yard, and
Yeah.
so we get moose and deer out there all the time, and I just had no idea how much I needed that like simple life,
That's so
which
cool.
is really cool and beautiful. Yeah.
Amazing.
And so when did you move out there?
So I actually lived down here in Utah for 7 years. Moved up there to marry him in 2018, and then I've been there ever since. But I grew up there.
Okay.
So I still have family there. Still have family here.
And so
just
you're in this
can claim
small
both.
town, and then
Yeah.
a big idea comes up later on, right?
Yeah. So 2020, actually, my brother had been introduced into this technology through somebody that he went to MBA school with. The technology was actually created by 2 scientists, and it was created for the military. Basically, how it works is there's billions of antennas inside of there. That sounds really scary. It's even over my own head. We have lots of really smart people and medical directors and, all the people that really fully understand it. But my brother had a bad back, was about to get surgery, really didn't want to. He was in his 40s, just didn't want to. And through, honestly, the grace of God, one of the inventors was in a really horrible motorcycle accident, was sitting in his hospital bed on all the pain meds, all the things, broke all of his ribs, and he was sitting there thinking about how our body runs off of electricity, right? We have our natural electricity system, and he was thinking about this technology that was created.
I've been grounding every morning.
Good for you.
We have a grounding mat in our bed.
Good, great. I love it.
We know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Heck yeah.
So, and he kind of was laying in his bed and he's like, wait, and just kind of started thinking about how the body works, asked his wife to bring it over to him. And he started just kind of playing with it and being like, wow, this relieves so much of the pressure and the pain when I have this on, and it's
So this
helping.
is your brother.
No, this is
the scientist.
The person,
Yes.
yeah. Got in a motorcycle accident.
Then we started being like, okay, there's something here, right, that works alongside the body, that's drug-free, that is just literally working alongside your body and what your body's supposed to be doing. So my brother had created a product called Signal Relief. That's kind of our parent company. And I came in very skeptical, honestly. But then you start to see what it does for people, and you pain and the way that it impacts people's lives, and those people who are in it every single day, or those people who have to take stuff every single day and that alters their life, whatever it may be, it sucks a lot of hope and joy out of a person's life who's in it every single day. That's not my personal story.
So can I interject really quick?
Please,
My
yeah.
wife has chronic plantar fasciitis.
Okay.
So she, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Which there's always a supposed cure.
Sure.
And nothing really helps except for just wearing the right kinds of shoes. And that's just relief.
Sure.
So, but if she's standing still, it's unbearable pain.
But when you're in it, you're willing, you're like,
To try
what
anything,
can
yeah.
I do? I just want this to go away because it's impacting her every single day. It's impacting her as a wife and as a mom, and your mental health that's directly in line with
for sure.
what you're suffering from. So long story short, as his sister, you sit here and you're kind of like, whatever, Mike, you're crazy. But then you watch it, watch what it does for people, and you start to see how it's changing their lives. So long story short, I flew out to Denver. My best friend, Susie, was an influencer at the time. She did a lot of business coaching. And I was like, hey, we need to create a line for women. The biggest thing with this technology is it works for a lot of things, but that becomes a very hard message to market. Mm-hmm. And so when it's this everything patch, then it feels even more placebo-y, right?
For sure.
And so I was just like, we need a line for
And snake
women.
oily.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure. And it's
Even if
new,
it's true.
Right.
and our price point is high because of the technology. And so, and we really, really want to keep it here in the US, so there's just a lot of things that go into that. But I went out to Denver, met with her, and that's kind of where the idea was born. I was just like, we need a line for women. And we honed in on menstrual cramps specifically because the placement of it was simple. It helped for a lot of people. There was a lot of women, majority of women just have a period. Mm-hmm. and obviously the scale of where their cramps are or what they're going through or what their symptoms are is very different, but a lot of people are suffering every single month, and we had a solution to that. Placement became easy because it was either on your uterus or your lower back, depending on where you're feeling the most pain. And yeah, out in Denver, an idea was born. So Susie is a dreamer, and she is like a risk taker, and I needed her so much to be the dreamer, and to be like, yes, we can do this. But she came in very skeptical as well. So
when did you guys start trying this to see if it worked?
so funny. So great question.
Like before you went out to Denver, or?
Well, yeah. So I had already been seeing it. I had gone out to Denver being
Okay.
like, we need to create something, for a brand for women specifically, that targets this specific discomfort, because we can help a lot of people. And so Susie's like, what the heck? No way. Because I had asked her, I'm like, come do it with me. And she's like, no way. So again, she was an influencer at the time. She jumped on her Instagram stories. She's like, Kim is telling me this thing works. I don't believe it. If you're in Rexburg, Idaho right now suffering from cramps, DM us. So we literally went door to door at BYU, Idaho,
And
handed them a
That's
patch.
so cool.
Some guerrilla
And
marketing.
sat there
I
and
love
we're
it.
like, hey, put it on. Like, let's see what this does for you, because it will, if you find the right spot, it will essentially help quickly. And she saw it and she watched it work. And then we built our entire brand with her community, which
Wow.
was like really awesome. So
That's awesome.
we started saying, hey, what do you think about this? We found our employees through her community and people that, we found our copywriter through there, and then we found our administrative assistant through there that was kind of helping us balance all of the things.
Yeah.
And then we'd be like, hey, we really need to design this. We need a creative person. And we built the entire brand through, honestly, her Instagram like network and community,
Way cool.
Wow.
which was super
What was
interesting.
what was her at the time when she was influencing? What was her thing?
Yeah, good question. So she got on the map because she's just like so authentically herself. And then, like I said, she had something called Susie School where she came. She's so amazing, and she's so good at empowering and coaching, and that was kind of her thing.
Okay.
So she had something
Cool.
called Susie School, where like new entrepreneurs or moms, mostly like women, where she's like, let me help you get the confidence you need to start the business
cool.
that you're dreaming of.
Cool.
So
Very cool.
yeah, she had this really loyal following, which made for an amazing launch.
Totally.
Like I think $500,000 in under 4 minutes, and we were over $1 million in like 4 hours for two little small town
Jeez.
Idaho girls. We were like,
And
this is awesome.
How many followers did she have at the time?
It's a valid question. 100 and something thousand.
Wow.
Well, because this is the point I want to make just about influencer marketing is, in the past, it was like you would look, unless someone had millions, it was hard to find success. That was like
For
pre-2020.
sure.
Sure.
But then we started seeing a shift kind of starting in 2018-19 where you started getting more of these audiences that were loyal,
Right.
right? So maybe the follower count wasn't this huge number, but they were following for a real reason. So it was like intent-based
engagement, yeah,
influencers.
For
So the
sure.
engagement was super high, really loyal, really high returns.
And the biggest thing for us, again, like it feels snake oily, we had the opportunity to have them directly witness and trust our product when it came
Right.
out.
Yeah.
Which, again, and I kind of mentioned this before we even started, like we for sure saw, like then you're like, crap, we have to find these people on our own once we get outside of this like
Right.
very loyal following. So grateful for them. They're like such a huge part of our Jovi family, Jovi community. But then it was like real life where it's
Right.
like we have to pay to play and we got to figure it out and we
Yeah.
got to keep growing. One thing about Jovi specifically, like, and probably I have no problem saying it, the worst business decision I ever made was being like, let me create a patch that lasts a year or longer if you take care of it. And like, really, I mean, I'm not coming out with new products.
Right.
So because our vision and our mission was just to be like, we want to help women get their lives back. And I want them to see the value in this, and I want them to reach for it. And I want it to be a household item because I keep watching what it does for people and for women,
Right.
and so if we
And for the men listening, right? I think because a lot of men, I grew up with all boys. So I was
Yeah.
one of 4 boys.
I have 5 brothers.
And I knew nothing of what
Sure.
a menstrual cycle did to women.
Right.
Honestly, knew nothing about it. You kind of joke about like PMS and stuff, right, as a
Sure.
kid, but you have no idea that for some women, I mean, that's like a 4 or 5 day ordeal,
Yeah.
And
right?
for
Where they're just in pain for 4 or 5 days, and like you joke about it, but and for some, it's pretty severe pain too.
yeah, depending on what your hormones are like
100.
it's
That's what I was gonna say.
debilitating,
There's so
you
many
know?
pieces too,
Yeah.
and like Jovi specifically only touches on one part, the more physical
Sure.
part of that.
Yeah.
And so for men,
but
it's like just think
there's-
about losing 4 or 5 days of your month.
This podcast episode is brought to you by Bestie. Bestie is the first ever AI-powered post-purchase survey platform. Bestie is revolutionizing the way you understand your customers. Are you uncertain about what motivates your customers to choose your products? Unsure how customers are discovering your brand or which marketing channels are most effective in driving sales to your website? Or do you know how long it takes your customers to make a purchase decision? Look no further because Bestie is the ultimate solution for you. With Bestie's cutting-edge AI feature, you can effortlessly create comprehensive surveys in just a matter of seconds without the need for any of your valuable time. And that is not all. Bestie's automated insights will regularly provide you with actionable information week over week, giving you the tools to drive your business forward. Now, with the holiday season in full swing, there is no better time to start gathering valuable customer data. Bestie is offering an exclusive 30% discount for Q4 alongside a 14-day free trial. Do not miss out on this opportunity to supercharge your business and truly get to know your customers. As e-commerce owners and agency owners ourselves, we use Bestie every single day to help us make better decisions on how we communicate, acquire, and grow our customers. Visit Bestie AI or check out apps.shopify.com/bestie today to secure your Q4 pricing. Don't wait. Start making data-driven decisions with Bestie today.
For sure. But like also, we're literally raised. I mean, not raised, we have to. Your wife can't not be a mom for
Right.
to a
Yeah.
10-month-old for 4 days. You know, if you're on your high school basketball team, you can't just like stop going to practice and not playing in the biggest game ever just because you're on your period. Some people, it will take them all the way out, but
Right.
like life keeps going, and we're trained, and that again has played an interesting role in like where we're not an impulse buy. Our price point is over $100. Our entire marketing mission and brand has to be in showing our mission and showing the value and creating trust in what it actually does.
Right.
And when we focus outside of that, when we focus on a quick purchase, like it doesn't pay off in the long run.
Sure.
So, but to be behind a product that again you see changes people's lives in so many good ways, like it makes it so fun and cool and easy to show up
Yeah.
and keep going.
And so after that first year, when you jumped into these decisions, right?
Yeah.
So it sounds like your first year, big launch,
Awesome.
success.
Amazing.
And then maybe there was some overthinking.
Sure. Of course. Well, of course, because then
Right.
you're like, what else can we do? We launched it again on Instagram, a lot through influencer, and which, by the way, is like, you have no idea until you have a business that relies so heavily on it, on what these partnerships look like. You have no, like the work that they do as influencers is really, really awesome. And I think that it gets a bad rap a lot of times,
Sure.
but it's incredible what they do, and what they can do in a space for a brand. But yeah, we threw a lot of money at being like, well, let's try this, and we're doing so great, and let's put our money here, and, you know, digital marketing and digital ads and whatever, like even podcast marketing, and it gets so expensive, and you're just hoping for this recreation of a launch that you're not
Sure.
going to get. So yeah, year 2 is just a lot more like, we're in the thick of it. We got to figure this out. We're consistently at top of the funnel, like trying to get a, top of funnel consumer, because we are not retargeting a lot.
Right.
We have a product that will last. So we have an expensive CPA. But if like I said, if we focus on the consumer, and we just kind of play this like slow and steady game. This last year, we had a 400% increase, and business has been better than ever.
So what were some of the things that you did? Because before the podcast, and you've kind of mentioned it a little bit just with what you've been saying, is like in year 2, you started throwing money and just trying a little bit of everything, right? What did you hone in exactly to figure out how to flip kind of the switch to having the year you had year 2 to year 3 being up 400%? What was that? I know you said focusing on the customer, but tell me more about what that means.
Well, yeah, and you guys will understand this. And I have a whole, we have our digital marketing employees who would be able to speak way better to this.
Of course. Yeah,
but I will be able to say, you have to take into account COVID. You have to take into account changes with, Meta and Instagram. Even year 2, that was when all of a sudden the algorithm changes, and then you don't have a swipe up option, and then that was our entire business. And you're like, oh my gosh, that change. Though we figured it out now, and it took time to kind of build that back up, I think even as a consumer, that affects a business who's just trying to stay on the rise a lot.
Right.
We were brand new. We're still in that startup phase. We are putting so much money into clinical studies to show proof of concept and FDA approval.
Sure.
That we just have to be really smart. And we weren't for a minute. So our biggest thing with Jovi specifically is, again, we launched with influencers, and then we just went with this influencer management company, and we're like, here, this works.
Right.
And so then they just start scheduling out, and we weren't very smart with it. And then we scaled it back. And I'm like, listen, we can have people get on and talk about it, and we can pay them to talk about it. But what we really need is people who, A, are willing to talk about their cramps, and B, who it actually helps them.
Yeah.
And so we switched our messaging of just pay to play to being like, hey, would you be willing to talk about this? Do you suffer that time of the month? Try our products. So I seed a lot of product, but I don't want to book you if you don't believe in it.
Sure.
And you don't actually have an experience with yourself or someone in your family that you can talk about.
I think that we had Jess Toulson on from Mixers, and
so great.
She said very similar things. I don't know if you remember this, but it was very interesting because she said, it's been so taboo to talk about periods.
Yeah.
Right? It's almost more of a weakness than just a normality.
Yeah.
At least that's what a lot of maybe women think. And so she said that the moment influencer marketing and community building really started to hit with her was when you got somebody to believe in the product
100%.
and then you had the right person who was willing to be a little bit more open about periods.
Sure.
Which is, I mean, I get it. I get why that some women feel that way, but it's so funny at the same time and silly because everyone has one.
Yeah.
Or most people do, But there's just a stigmatism against saying, well,
and when and again, I don't know what her price point is but when you get on and you talk about periods and it feels like just I'm pushing a product, and then you go to our website and our price point is $140, you're like, freak no, I deal with this. I've dealt with it for 30 years. I'm good no matter how bad it is.
Yep.
But when you get on and you say, listen, I had no idea for the last 40 years, what this could do. It lasts a year. If you break that down into the price point, it's reusable. Anyone in your family can use it. If you have daughters, they can grab it during their time of the month.
Right.
And you create and you show the value. That's the trusted source.
Totally.
And the trust comes in their story.
Yeah.
And so it's just way better for us, if we have 3 good ones versus 30 people just pushing our product.
Yeah.
And
pray.
it would be very different if we were in the business of awareness, right?
Sure.
And we're not right now. And I think a lot of brands are in that space. But we're on it. We have a mission.
Cool. So what I'm hearing is your the biggest focus, the biggest change was you just got focused and narrowed into the right type of influencers because there are so many good influencers, but just because there's a good influencer doesn't mean they're the right influencer for you. And so you kind of almost what Mark was just saying is you found the right intent people,
and we still have to strategically try other things for example, we just tried a whole campaign of podcast marketing, like podcast advertising. And it didn't work for us. And it was a big budget, that we put towards it. And we did our homework and our research, and we looked at all the data, and we saw what it was doing for other brands, and it didn't work for us. And I think we had to try that to know.
Right.
But I think, again, like not being an impulse buy and being a higher price point, we have to have a little bit longer to show value in that.
Totally.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because I think what a lot of brands don't take into consideration is that it takes X amount of touch points to convince somebody if you're trying to reach out beyond your immediate buyer type. Because you're solving a problem for some people who are like, I'm buying that because I just want to solve my problem.
Yeah.
But once you get to the people where it's like, I've had it for a while. Like, I don't know, is it really that big of a deal? How do you convince them in one moment? You can do that with really great marketing, but oftentimes it's going to take repetitive introductions and touches to convince that person.
Sure.
So a lot of people think of podcasting like AG1.
Yeah.
Right. But you have to think about their strategy there, right? They are on so many of them, and they are talked about every single time.
So again, it's
like
an
Huberman,
awareness campaign.
AG1 is mentioned every single
Any
time.
wellness podcast
I doubt that many people buy in one or two listens of Huberman, like AG1, but maybe after 100.
Well, or
AG1.
the day
like,
that they are like, man, feeling something, and they're like, maybe that AG1 that I keep hearing about is. So I do, it's super interesting. I don't think that it's an immediate turnaround on your.
And like you said, it depends on where you're at as a business.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing, right? Because an AG1 has an insane marketing budget and probably an insane awareness marketing budget that they can. I look at awareness budgets as oftentimes as test budgets, that you can just throw money at. And
well, and then you're just like, well, our directly, we can't pinpoint this to directly attributed, but our overflow is looking a lot better and a lot prettier since we've been doing that. There's so many things.
How important have your customers been as marketing and sales reps for you?
I mean, that is the nature of our business. And honestly, I think that our customers and we call them our inner circle, their stories are what creates that trust. And not only that, every single one of us sitting in this room, like as you guys are sitting here, you can probably think of 15 women that you're like, oh man, I know her cramps are pretty bad or whatever. Sure. Like I know she struggles or whatever pain it is or whatever discomfort it is, we all know those people. And once they believe in it, like that word of mouth has to be a huge part. So our customers, which again is why we go into their story and just focus on our consumer and try not to, because we can have a really huge day or a really huge influencer hit and they'll be like, sweet, go spend $1 million, like increase that budget, go find other people like them. And the second that we do that is the second that we lose focus of the consumer and their experience and our mission and our vision. And our customers are everything. Yeah. And word of mouth is everything. Their stories and their experiences are everything.
What are your thoughts on customer reward programs?
We have one. We do. And we open up our inner circle. Our inner circle is our affiliate program, which any customer can go and be like, listen, I love this product. As I tell my family members about it, I may as well have a discount code and make some cash off of it.
Awesome.
Because that, again, their stories are where you lose some of the placebo. And it will always, it's new. It's not something that you've heard of, even like oils at this point, right? Everyone talks about them and you kind of just know the benefits of them based off of everyone else.
Right.
But this is very new. And so.
But essential oils, even like 15 years ago, were pretty taboo.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they still kind of are a little bit. I mean, they're definitely more.
They are to me.
Well known, but there's still some things.
For sure. And
like
we'll
people
always
tell me
have
certain
that,
things that they
that's
do,
okay.
and I'm like, I mean, they smell nice, but I don't know.
Yeah. But there's people that believe in them. And it's the people that
and
believe
maybe
in
it
them
works,
that go tell their other people to believe in them.
Yeah.
And so, so it's a huge part of our business.
So do you use a specific tool for it, or do you just have it How are you tracking that?
And
Do you know?
can I backtrack just a little bit?
Please.
I think we're digging into this a little bit because most companies have tried reward programs and have failed.
Sure.
And obviously you need a good product for word of mouth to work, but how do you inject a little more gasoline into word of mouth, right? Like how do you incentivize people to do that? You just have to have a good product and a good experience, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But is there a way to help incentivize your customers to go beyond a little more?
Yeah.
And so has affiliate worked for you in that way? Or is it more of just like, hey, we're just focusing, like you said, on our experience. And because we focus so much on the customer experience and their stories, it's a natural flow over. And then we have this just kind of like as something that they can take advantage of.
I love that you're dialing into this like a little bit, and I'm going to be the worst person to speak to it, like quite literally. And let me tell you why. It's because we're like, oh my gosh, again, we started this with such a loyal community and a loyal like fan base. And we wanted to reward them, and we wanted them to help us spread the word. So we created it very naively. Now it doesn't get a ton of focus on our business, and it needs to. And again, not for reasons of revenue and growth, but for reasons of what they do as a valued, like, trusting source. And so, yes, we do use lead Dino.
Okay.
Does that sound right?
I don't know. There's so many.
There's so many.
So you could just make that up.
Yes,
And just you
we
say
use
it
it
with
and we love it.
Say it with confidence and you win.
Yeah, it needs, when we talked, like when we sat down at the beginning of the year and we kind of talked about our goals, we have really big, cool things coming up. A new product that we've been working really, really hard on that will launch hopefully at the end of this year. But our affiliate program and our Inner Circle program is at the top of that list of something we
And
need
another
to.
question I have about that, because you said higher price point.
Yeah.
You know, like when you think of the top brands out there, and I know we're talking different stratospheres, but like, and Apple doesn't have affiliate programs. Like you don't have customer reward.
Yeah.
Like you might get some like, oh, like refer someone for $200 or something. But when you're talking about like a $2,000 purchase, it's like,
Yeah.
sure, how many people am I going to convince to go buy this product? But Apple's the best-selling
For sure.
brand in America and most profitable brand because of their products and experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like people know what to expect, and so they get it. And so people just go back to Apple all the time, right? For your iPhones and now computers and everything. But
Well, and we'd all be lying if like we didn't sit in our business meetings and our planning meetings of being like, we want to be the Apple of this, product in this industry. Like,
of course,
they have set that benchmark so high, and in such a beautiful way. We'd all love that for sure.
Well, on the flip side, on the flip side of what you're saying is like Delta lives off of rewards, right? Like people base their entire ethos
yes, it's
off
so
of, and I have slowly become one of these people off of my Delta rewards and what
but
I
it's
get
not a referral like
too.
affiliate thing. It's like
not affiliate, but
you're buying stuff anyway, so I might
the
as well gain
affiliate
the
piece
system.
is like you get miles, right? So like if I spend X amount of money, or if like I say, hey, get rid of your Capital One card, get your American Express, I'm going to get 30,000 extra miles from you when you sign up. You know, like I've done that a ton with people. Like anytime somebody's like any young person, like anytime somebody's getting married, I'm like, you guys need a credit card, don't you? They're like, yeah, we do. I'm like, here.
Yeah, that's good. It's smart. It's hard too, though, with like a actual product. You know, all of those rewards, obviously, you really have to take into account your margins, and it gets a little bit tricky. And it gets especially tricky like when you have influencer marketing who have a good discount, and when you have your Black Friday sale that has a really good discount. Like, it's just,
Here's my question for you.
Yeah. I hope I can answer it.
This is not planned. We're just spitballing right now, everyone.
We always are.
But I guess the real question is, what incentivizes a customer to share your product with other people, right? And I think a lot of companies lean into this idea that you can incentivize them with like cashbacks and rewards, but is maybe the biggest incentive for somebody is,
can I answer this?
Sharing their story.
I know. I want to answer this too. You go first.
Like I have a thought.
Is
I mean,
attention.
obviously, I don't know your business the way you do, so you'll have the actual answer. But I think I have an answer to this that is relevant for any business, yours included. And I'm guessing that you're going to key in on what I'm saying, which is I heard a while ago, there was this quote that said, people don't share good things to people. People share what makes them look good. And if you...
That's not like a deviant thing either, right?
No,
It's
not
it
at
could
all.
be something that makes them look good just because they're helping too.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right.
Everyone likes to be the person to help or solve a problem. And so I would imagine that if Jovi works for somebody, and that is there's not a single woman in the world, there's not a single woman in the world who would say, I don't want my periods to be better.
Yeah.
There's not a single
I
woman in the world.
love feeling like this.
Yeah,
It's
no
fun.
one likes that,
It's the
right?
Nacho Libre quote.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if I would imagine if it's working, like you go tell everybody that, like, and you're going to help their lives. Like I'm not sharing this because it's good. I'm sharing this because everyone is going to thank me later, for doing this. And like you said, it's not a devious thing that people do it for that reason, but that's just naturally how we are.
So I agree with you. And that would have been my answer is, again, when you have people, when you watch and you see the people that you love suffer, and then you watch something help them, that is the value in our inner circle and our affiliate program. That is what makes someone want to share. And the cash bonus is just like a bonus,
Yeah,
really.
right.
It's like cool.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Like, and that has to be our focus. I think that people will come in and sign up, obviously, especially depending on like their reach with a different intent, maybe. But again, the second that they shift their business, like of why they want to be a part of it and why they want to share about it, and it comes with like this really juicy, beautiful story, like they're just going to make more as well. So
Yeah.
our cash, I think, is just a bonus. Our value is in watching and seeing what it does for people's lives. And I think that that's where I have to stay focused, because that directly aligns with our vision and our mission, and not revenue. Because
Revenue has to be a byproduct.
We
of serving
didn't
the right
create
audience, right?
this
for sure.
for revenue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I think like if you can dial like everything into what we talked about, the beauty of this conversation is when you can solve somebody's problems
For sure.
effectively.
Sure.
That's how any business can succeed, right? Like you may not go into it saying, I want to make this money. It's like, okay, if I solve this problem, then sure, the money is going to come.
Sure.
And that's kind of what happens.
And do we wish that it like came easier and was
Sure.
beautiful and didn't come with all the like startup, all the things?
Yeah.
Of course. But yeah, I think the second, like I said, we deviate from our consumer and from their experiences the second that our business actually suffers. So
I like it. That's a bar right there. That's a bar. Okay, one question for you. We got to,
okay.
and you may have already answered this, but I love to ask everybody this question on the podcast. What's the biggest mistake you're seeing brands make? Right, just you as a consumer and as a business owner now. What kind of mistakes are you seeing brands make right now? If you could just call out one.
To me, based off of our own experience, it's trying to be everything everywhere. I don't know that
That's
I can
huge.
confidently say that it's a huge mistake, but again, for my own business, like when we try to be everywhere and do everything, and it doesn't help us.
Yeah. There's a line there's a book called This Is Marketing, and it's written by Seth Godin, and there's a line that says, when you sell to everybody, you sell to nobody.
Yeah, I believe it.
And what you're saying
And when
is,
you don't have your passion connected to your work, like that's felt as a consumer and as a brand. So yeah.
huge. Cool. Well, where can people find Jovi?
Good. Yeah. So we're on Instagram, meet_Jovi, and then you can go to meetjovi.com. It's amazing. I always say, like, give it a try. It comes with adhesives. It's reusable. It will last you up to a year.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the
wild.
adhesives you just take off and put a new one on once it's not sticking anymore. I personally don't use the adhesive a lot. I'll just tuck it into my leggings, but I am a firm believer that it should be in every medicine cabinet in every home. And My kids grab for it. It does so many things, even outside of cramps.
That is
that
wild.
my kids will grab it for belly aches or for headaches, or like I have kids in sports, and I have a golfer and his back will be aching him, and he'll just grab it and put it on all the time. So I think that they're really, it's nothing's going into your body, nothing's coming out of your body. It again just works alongside your body's natural electrical system, kind of helping those signals that are going to and from your brain when it's saying like, ouch, this hurts, or whatever. And so,
amazing.
Thank you.
That's so cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Kim. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for letting me stop in. It was great.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And everybody, thank you so much for listening. We will see you next week. Thank you so much for listening to the Unstoppable Marketer podcast. Please go rate and subscribe the podcast, whether it's good or bad. We want to hear from you because we always want to make this podcast better. If you want to get in touch with me or give me any direct feedback, please go follow me and get in touch with me. I am at the Trevor Crump on both Instagram and TikTok. Thank you, and we will see you next week.